welcome all. Thank you all for taking the time to join us today for our best practices and pitfalls to avoid in your OKR journey webinar. So I hope all of you can hear us. Please type yes in the chat box if you can. So let's go ahead with a quick introduction. Just a quick introduction about myself. My name is Prithvi. I'm a strategic account executive with Profit.co at APAC. I help Profit.co with solution consulting, customer experience, customer onboarding, and customer relationship management. I've worked with over 1,000 customers and continue to work and hope to continue to do so. So just a few ground rules before we move forward. So I see there are a lot of people from chat. I can see there's Dinakar from Dubai, there's Balaji from California, there's people from all over the world joining us, and that's really good to know. I see Matthew is here as well. Hi, Matthew. We're really glad to have you here. So just a few ground rules. Before we get started, there's going to be an exciting surprise at the end of the webinar. So we really look forward to seeing you all until the end. So do stay until the end to get all of the benefits from this webinar. And this webinar session is being recorded, so don't worry, you will all get a recording of the playback. We'll send you a link via email, no problem. And if you do have any questions regarding the webinar, feel free to type them down in the Q&A box and we will be answering them towards the end of the webinar. All right. So just a quick intro to Profit.co. Well, we are the complete performance solution. And as you can see, Profit.co is based on the following pillars. We have strategy execution, project and portfolio management, and employee performance management. Under strategy execution, we have modules like strategy, OKRs, and balance scorecard. Under project and portfolio management, we have modules like tasks and PPM to help you guys out. And under employee performance management, we have modules like rewards and recognition, pulse surveys, and performance management. As you can see, we are 250 plus professionals who work across the globe, including markets like United States, India, Middle East, and Asia Pacific. And as you can see, we're rated as leaders by G2, Software Advice, Capterra, Gartner, GetApp. We're one of the top 5 OKR softwares in the world right now. So we are a very robust and overreaching OKR-centric system. And quickly introducing my co-host for today, I'm very excited to introduce 𝐊𝐿, who is our OKR coach and consultant. He is an expert with over 16 years of experience. He's handled over 100 customers with over 1,000 consulting hours. And he's coached over 750 plus professionals and helped them become OKR champions and experts in their own company. So his expertise spans over strategy consulting, process consulting, program management, customer relationship management, and service delivery. So really glad to have you here, 𝐊𝐿. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Prithvi, for introducing me. Hello, everyone.
So just quickly walking over the agenda today, we're just going to cover what OKRs actually are. And then we're going to talk about the common pitfalls that we come across while implementing OKRs. And we're also going to talk about the best practices for effective OKR implementation. And we're going to talk about the challenges that we face, right? And how we can overcome them through champions. So what are OKRs? So OKRs is a goal management and execution system where objective O stands for objectives and KR stands for key result. The objective is basically what do you want to achieve, and the key results is how you will know you're getting there, right? So this is how the OKR framework is built, and the objective and key result go hand in hand and help you measure your progress through regular check-ins, feedback, continuous learning, and collaboration. And one of the common pitfalls is pitfall number 1 that we do come across, especially from our experience with working with over 1,500 customers, is there is sometimes too many or too little OKRs, right? So if there are too many OKRs, we do lack focus sometimes because we don't know what to prioritize. And sometimes there is less commitment towards strategic goals when there are too little OKRs. So, in order to overcome this pitfall, I'm sure our expert Ishwar can help us out. So, Ishwar, how do you think we can overcome this particular pitfall in OKR implementation?
Yes, Prithvi, you mentioned it right? It is a common challenge in OKR implementation to find the right balance between too many and too few OKRs. So I have witnessed this firsthand with multiple customers that I work with, that setting either too many or too few OKRs can impact a team's or department's focus and also the effectiveness, right? Let me share one of my experience that really highlighted this for me. The first and foremost thing is lack of focus due to frequent change in priorities, right? So I remember working with a team that sets 10 OKRs for a specific period, let's say a quarter. They were very ambitious, eager, and had a lot of ideas that is aligning towards the organizational goals. However, halfway through the period of that quarter, they found themselves constantly shifting focus from one to other. For the first week, it was all about satisfying their customers. Then the next week, it was all about the deep cost cutting measures and also concentrating on revenue. The frequent changes made it very impossible to focus, and as a result, they were not able to achieve most of their goals that they wanted to achieve. This is one classic example of losing focus because that we set too many goals for ourselves in a specific period. The other thing which you mentioned very clearly, right? Less commitment towards strategy goals. On the flip side, let's say a department is setting only one goal for a specific period. It seems like a very good idea at that point of time because keeping things simple during the initial period. But however, that single OKR will not cover the entire organization's visions for that particular department, right? So over a period of time, the team or the department will start feeling that they were not able to contribute to the bigger picture, and hence they may lose motivation. It is really surprising how too few OKRs can lead to lack of engagement and commitment between their team members as well, right? So hence, in order to overcome this particular pitfalls, right? So here is some of the strategies that we can look forward. And first and foremost will be to have strategic alignment. It is very, very important to have connected with our goals to connect with our overall organizational strategy. It is like having a map on a road trip. Without it, you are just driving aimlessly. So by aligning your OKRs with your company strategy, every team knows that what they are contributing towards, and they are also aware that their minimal contribution is going to impact the larger organizational success, which will definitely give motivation to all the team members within the organization. And then the next important step that we should follow is to have 3 to 5 OKRs at each and every level. The level I meant the department, teams, or individual level. So having these minimal numbers is really manageable and forces everyone to focus on what actually matters to them. In a simpler way, right? It is like cooking a meal. If you try to make too many dishes at once, the quality may suffer, but you focus on few, they may turn delicious to you, right? So very important to have minimal goals and understanding your priorities. And finally, having inspiring objectives and quantifiable key results. Crafting inspiring objectives paired with quantifiable key results is really, really crucial, right? So I remember a customer service department setting an objective to revolutionize customer experience. It looks like very ambitious goal, am I right? And exciting. But the key result that they set were really vague. Later, the department worked together to make them very specific and measurable, like increasing customer satisfaction score. So which is really, really specific and straightforward. So the department approach, they know what exactly they are aiming for, and they felt inspired to achieve those. So these are some of the important things that you can make it as to overcome the pitfall. To close this, Prithvi, the first topic, right? I would like to recall a quote that states, when you try to chase two rabbits, both the rabbits are going to run away from you. Hence, it is imperative that to set our priorities straight. When the priorities are very clear, the path to achieve those priorities will become lucid.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that, Ishwar. So moving on to pitfall number two, another one I'm sure you can help us overcome this as well, is inconsistent execution, right? So sometimes as poor follow through. I mean, we all get excited during stage one and we set it, but it's really important to move ahead and follow through, right? So how do we overcome this particular pitfall?
That's correct, Prithvi. So inconsistent execution, one of the most challenging aspects of OKR implementation is maintaining consistency throughout our journey. Right. So I was once consulting with a service firm that had a dynamic and fast-paced work environment, right? They were very excited about OKRs initially, and they started setting very ambitious targets for them. However, the excitement faded as they struggled with irregular check-ins. The team members, the individuals are not continuously contributing to the progress updates. So they had a lot of activities during the initial stages when they implemented OKR, but as weeks went by, the OKRs were left unattended. I remember talking to one of their team members who said, we have set OKRs during the initial stages, but we rarely discussed them in our meetings or in our review process. Right. This lack of regular check-ins meant that they lost the track and they could not make any timely adjustment. On the other hand, having a very poor follow-through or review process, right? People set OKRs, the individual department set OKRs, but at the end of the quarter, there was no formal review or checking back on what went right and what went wrong, right? And one quarter, they missed several key results because they did not have proper review process. I have spoken to one of the champions and he said that we just move on to the next set of goals without reflecting on what went right or wrong in the past period. So this lack of follow through made it very difficult for the team to learn from the previous experience and improve. So to overcome this, we will have to establish a very regular check-in process, right? So I worked with the marketing team that implemented OKR weekly check-ins, or every week or bi-weekly, the team will definitely do a 30 minutes update of their key results, right? This routine kept their OKRs front and center and allowed the team to address any issues immediately. So it means that you fail fast and you learn to overcome your issues easily, or you change your strategies faster. And then implementing a robust review process, right? Implementing a bi-weekly or monthly review cycle. During the review cycle, you address the problem. You also plan for the remaining period on how to achieve your targets is all going to really help you a lot. The structured review process will help you to stay accountable and also continuously refine the approach, which will help you to overcome your targets. All right.
Yeah.
So monthly reviews have become a vital part of your strategy. We learn so much from these sessions and it will help us improve every quarter. And finally, not only having a robust review process, you also have to follow through with a lot of action plans. So I recall working with a sales team that struggled with follow through until they started very clearly defining a set of action plans for their key results. So during the review process, they will also put a detailed agenda on what are the action items they will have to focus on in the next period of time, so that they set this and achieve the targets on a timely manner. This approach turned the team's discussion into actionable steps, driving consistent progress throughout the period. So these are some of the important steps that we will have to follow when you want to overcome this inconsistent execution challenges when you implement OKR within your organization.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Yes, I do agree. We do need that action plan to get the ball rolling.
That's
Right.
correct. That's correct. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So moving on to pitfall number 3. So we have a lack of executive buy-in. So we do see this sometimes. So it's not just everyone getting started with OKRs. We definitely need support from the entire organization, right? So maybe you can help us with overcoming this pitfall as well.
Yes, Prithvi. So the lack of executive buy-in is a significant barrier to successful OKR implementation, right? So it can lead to very limited strategic alignment and also poor communication within the organization. So we have seen some executive teams skeptical about OKRs when they implement. They view it as just another management framework and were not fully invested in the process. So as a result of this, the OKRs that are set at the department level often do not align with the organizational strategies or broader goals, right? So departments, they will set their own OKRs, but they really will not connect with the leadership focus on, right? This disconnect means that the teams were busy, but they were not necessarily moving in the right direction. In the other hand, insufficient communication, right? Organization introduce OKRs without any clear communication from the top management. The executive team will not communicate why they were adapting OKRs and what are the business goals that they were aiming to achieve, or what are the vision that the company is having by implementing this, right? This lack of communication will leave many employees confused and disengaged. In many cases, the employees feels that We were told to use OKRs, but we do not know, or we do not really understand how it is going to fit in a larger picture for us, right? Without understanding the purpose and value of the implementation of OKRs, the initiative is going to struggle, or it is not going to gain traction. So hence it is very important for us to maintain transparent communication throughout our journey. The first step in overcoming this challenge will be to maintain transparent communication from the top level. So in one successful example, I have seen a CEO held a town hall meeting to explain why the company was adopting OKRs and how they aligned with the strategic vision and what are the benefits they are expecting to out of achieving this or implementing this OKR. This transparency helped everyone understand the process and become on board, right? And team leader then later shared that the CEO's open communication is going to made a big difference. We were informed, and we also felt that we are also part of the process, so that even the minimal contribution is understanding their minimal contribution is going to impact the larger organizational goals. And then demonstrating tangible benefits, right? So can win over skeptical executives. There are companies that piloted OKRs in one department, and before rolling out to company-wide, a structured approach, the phased manner approach, they tracked the results meticulously and presented data showing improved focus and performance. This tangible outcomes that one department achieved is going to create a value for the other departments. So seeing the measurable improvements in one department is going to give a lot of confidence to the others in departments or the other teams or other individuals within the organization to adapt to OKRs across the organization, because they are understanding that this is going to be really, really helpful for them to execute the strategies. And finally, encouraging executive sponsorship, right? So I have seen a situation, the CFO of that company has taken a lead to implement this OKRs and actively participating in setting and reviewing the OKRs on a timely manner. His involvement sent a strong signal to align the company's goal with the larger objectives or the key results, right? It also helped the company align their financial goals with their objectives. The sponsorship was instrumental in embedding OKRs into the company culture. So having the CEO itself as the champion within the organization is going to make a lot of difference. It is going to show the leadership that the leadership itself are very committed. Hence, it is our priority to and successfully execute this. So this kind of commitment will help the team members or the departments to successfully adapt to this OKR culture.
Yeah, definitely agree on this one. So moving on to one more important pitfall that we definitely do need to address is skipping the reflect and reset. So I myself have seen this from personal experience. I've seen some customers skipping the reflect and reset. They fail to analyze their successes and failures, right? So this would lead to a lot of unaddressed bottlenecks. So how do we overcome this, Ishwar?
Yes, it's a common mistake, Prithvi, in OKR implementation, often leading to missed learning opportunities and unresolved issues, right?
Yeah.
So the failing to analyze success and failures, it's a common situation where we will be so focused on setting and achieving goals, but rarely take time to reflect our process, reflect the path that we crossed, right? At the end of each quarter, we would quickly set new OKRs without reviewing the previous one. It is a problem, right? This approach will lead to repeated mistakes and missing opportunities. We did not fail early, rather we fail at the end, which will leave very less opportunity for us to learn and move our strategies better. In additionally, unaddressed bottlenecks, right? Another instance, you skip the reflect reset stage and consequently leaving several bottlenecks unaddressed during the period. So one quarter, we struggle with a particular issue that slowed down our progress. However, without a structured review, we did not identify the issue as a key challenge earlier. As a result, the same bottleneck is going to hinder you in the next period, right? So this is a problem. So mainly we need to overcome this. Hence, we should have an structured, regular retrospective process, conduct regular retrospective, right? So after each quarter, you will have to have a dedicated session to discuss what worked and what did not, and why it did not work out as well. So this reflective practice will help you to identify successful strategies and an area of improvement. Our retrospectives are really, really valuable. This will give us a chance to celebrate wins and learn from our mistakes. The sessions will provide you structured opportunity for honest reflection and also continuous improvement throughout the process. Then implement a structured reset process. This is going to really be helpful, that the teams will start each quarter with a clear, refined objectives. So I recall working with the marketing team, they struggled with setting ambitious objectives. During the research sessions, they reviewed their progress of the previous quarter, adjusting their goals to be more realistic and achievable for the upcoming period. This process helped them focus on what is more important and set attainable targets. The team manager of that marketing department said that our reset meeting helped us to recalibrate and set realistic goals based on the past performance, right? And finally, the most important thing that we will have to focus on is to solve all these problems by having OKR champions at each and every level within the organization. The champions will be passionate advocates who will ensure the OKR process is followed consistently. So in some of the companies that I have worked with, right, an HR manager took the role of an OKR champion, or he or she will organize training sessions, facilitating reflection meetings, and continuous tracking the progress, providing additional help to the team members or the departments, right? The involvement of the HR member ensured that the team is going to stay on track, and that reflect or reset process become a core part of their organizational culture, right? So this is how you overcome this particular strategy. And when you implement this OKR, these are some of the prerequisites that you will have to focus on. Right. The first and foremost will be executive commitment. The articulation of the program, we discussed about this earlier, right? The executives, the top level management will have to clearly articulate why the organization is implementing this program within the organization and what are the business benefits that they are going to get, right? Executives must clearly articulate OKR goals and publicly support the initiative to demonstrate is important, right? And it's also important that they will have to continuously review and provide feedback so that everybody is aligned towards the strategic vision. Then every framework or every change management initiative has to be supported with employee adoption, right? Encourage a balance of ambitious and achievable targets, address resistance, right? This is where the executive commitment is going to come into play. And more importantly, the employees will have to continuously track the progress of their key results, and they will have to do the reviews frequently so that they understand their progress and put a clear strategy for the upcoming period. Then having OKR expertise, how to define your structured OKR calendar. That is where OKR champion, and we are going to help all of you in terms of defining this expertise and understanding how to conduct employee engagement activities and how to do this reflect and reset process. And finally, the management bandwidth during the initial stages and throughout the process, planning and aligning resources effectively and establishing a very clear structured process, what are the activities that we will have to do so that we monitor the progress and provide feedback throughout the journey is going to play a major role when you implement this OKR program within your organization. And so when you do this, this is what you will achieve, and 6 sure ways that your OKR program is going to get successful. That when you complete your planning during the initial phase of your OKR period and having a very structured OKR calendar during your quarter or an annual OKRs when you set, and having a structured check-in patterns and the review targets, right? These are the 3 things that you will have to do in order to have all these successful when you implement this OKR program in your organization. And finally, employee engagement, celebrating your wins and rewarding employees and having a reflect reset process at the end of the quarter is going to help you to reflect on the past period, and also how you will overcome the strategies in the next period is going to really be helpful to you, right? So having said that,
That's great. Thank you so much for all of those insightful examples from your experience, Ishwar. I'm sure we all learned a lot from that. So
thanks,
just a
Prithvi.
quick question for all of you. We just want to know what you find to be the most challenging aspect of OKR implementation in your team or organization. We'd really appreciate it. If you can drop some answers in the chat, we'd love to know your thoughts on this. And we'll give everyone a minute just to answer this or drop anything in the chat. We do have some questions posted by the audience as well. There are a few questions which we'll definitely answer at the end of the webinar. So again, just quickly repeating this question. So we just want to know, what do you find to be the most challenging aspect of OKR implementation in your teams or organization? Okay, so we can wait for everybody to. So I see that Alex has replied that regular check-ins is the main problem. Yes, we
Okay.
did cover that, and we do
Yeah.
agree that is definitely one of the major problems that we see in a lot of organizations, right, Ishwar?
Yes, correct, Prithvi. So
Yeah.
executing a very clear regular check-in process is one of the important challenge. That's where we improve the adoption of our employees as well. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So guiding the team in differentiating between objectives and KRAs, right? In the initial phase, this definitely is a challenge, right,
Yeah.
Ishwar? You would have
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
that.
Setting clear objectives, which will be qualitative, and having a quantifiable key results will be a little challenging during the initial phase,
Yeah.
right? We will have to learn how to write high quality objectives and key results, which will drive the team members' progress throughout their journey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even Kafui says follow-ups and regular check-ins. Yes, we do agree. And Saurabh says identifying internal champion in functional teams instead of HR. So that is
Yeah.
a very
Yeah, yeah.
interesting
So,
perspective.
so
Don't you
we
think
are
so,
going to
Ishwar?
help them. We are going to help them or to achieve this, right? That's why we have this program, which you will introduce
Yeah.
very soon, right?
Mhm. And alignment as well. So yes, common pitfalls. Thank you so much, guys, for answering that in the chat. So that is common things that we face. So how do we overcome these program challenges? Like Ishwar said, we do have our own OKR champions program. We definitely believe that having an OKR champion from within can help you overcome these challenges, right? Especially challenges like executive commitment. When you do have a champion who is ready to support and get that executive commitment for you, and ready to accelerate and propel that forward on behalf of the team, that is really important. And the champion can also help propagate employee adoption. They can help dedicate maybe like a weekly meeting and thing to help with the check-ins, right? So champion can definitely drive this, and the champion can also bring the most needed OKR expertise into a company, especially when they are new to OKRs, right? So definitely having a champion will help you overcome that. And also you can help manage the management bandwidth, right? So with the champion, we will help you, the champion can help you with the OKR adoption reports and check-in discipline reports, just to see if everything is on track and everything is going as per the plan, right? So we do have our own OKR champion program. So just a quick highlight of the program, just to give you guys a quick overview of the program. It consists of 4 training sessions and 2 workshops, and the duration of the program is 9 hours. And as you can see, the first session we will cover the fundamentals like what are OKRs and how you can write effective OKRs. And in the second session, we will help you drive the OKR planning and development, right? So we'll help you get started with writing your OKRs and planning your OKRs, and also we'll help you with alignment. And on a third session, we will help you with your best practices in OKRs, your learning, and we'll help you set up your PMS, and we'll help you decide what OKRs to start prioritizing, right? So we'll help you get kick-started in the scale session. And finally, in the fourth session, we will help you with the planning guide and execution guide. We'll show how the champions can stay on track of the whole OKR implementation, how they can stay on track with the regular check-in meetings, or how they can drive employee engagement better. And finally, we do have workshops as well. So in workshops, we'll answer your questions on OKR planning. We will walk you through some very interesting case studies that will give you a good insight into the industry and how different people are dealing with their OKR challenges, how different champions from across the industry have helped their company adopt OKRs, right? And you will also get a certificate at the end, right? So we do have some snippets from our OKR program. As you can see, it's a very comprehensive program. It's very informative, right? You can, as you can see, this is the certificate that you will be getting. We do have some testimonials from a lot of customers. You can see all of this on our website. So it's a very helpful program, especially if you're looking to become a champion from within and if you are trying to bring OKR adoption into your company, right? So this is something that will definitely be very helpful. And finally, for the big surprise reveal, so thank you guys so much for staying until the end of the webinar. So if you are interested in joining our OKR certification for champions, you can use this coupon code. We will drop it in the chat. So you can use it to get 50% off. So our course is happening from August 21st to 23rd, right? So the 9-hour session will be covered in this 3 days. So you can go ahead, scan the QR code, have a look. So we will take a quick pause at the screen and we can drop the coupon code as well in the chat so that everyone can get access. So we'll just take a quick pause here. Meanwhile, just looking at some of the questions. Will we get a copy of the slides? Yes. So I hope the coupon code has been dropped on the chat. Flat 50 is the coupon code. Okay, great. Okay, so I hope all of you had the time to scan it, go through it. I hope all of you had taken in the information from this. So just moving on to 𝐊𝐿𝐲, just to give any closing comments and discuss key takeaways from this session.
Correct, Prithvi, right. So it's three important key takeaways that I would like to highlight. The first and foremost will be to implement very clear and aligned and measurable objectives with a structured execution process. That is very, very important. And the next one will be like having an executive commitment and avoid setting too many objectives and key results at every level, and not to forget to have your reflect and reset process when you complete a specific period, let's say a quarter, right? And finally, the most importantly, the fostering a culture of transparency, accountability, and continuous improvement with structured training, support, and providing the necessary support, guidance, tools for the team members so that their adoption is going to really improved a lot in this journey. So these are some of the key takeaways that I would like to highlight as an outcome of this session. And I wish all the folks who have joined here and great success in their OKR implementation, right? And so here you go.
Okay, so we do have a few questions in the chat, so I'm pretty sure we can answer them for you. So starting with the question from Mohammed. So Mohammed says he manages a portfolio of 3 departments. He wants to know what is the format for monthly review and reflection reset meetings, and how these meetings are run and who's involved.
So the monthly reflect and reset meetings or the monthly review meeting should happen in a very structured way, right? So we call it as progress, plan, and problem. We discuss the progress that we made in the previous period of that particular quarter or an annual period for that particular key result. Then we also discuss the plan, what is our plan to achieve the remaining target in the remaining stipulated time. And finally, while we discuss the plan, we may also foresee some of the problems that we may encounter during this journey. So these are the 3 important things that you will have to discuss during your regular review meetings. In addition, the reflect and reset meeting. So during the reflection, you will reflect on the past period. So you will understand whether you are able to achieve the objective. If yes, what are the things that has contributed to you to get your objective successful. Some of the scenarios you may not be able to achieve a key result, right? In that scenario, you will discuss why you were not able to achieve the key result, and you will articulate those plannings and take it forward to the next quarter, right? And ideally, who is involved, right? So the owner of the key result is going to be the major contributor to that reflect research session, along with the department heads or the team leads, who is going to monitor the who is going to own that particular objectives, which will focus on the larger strategic vision, right? Yes, the sessions are recorded. We will share you the recordings post the meeting.
So one more question from Deepak. He's asking, can we do midterm correction to OKRs and what needs to be done after a mid-year correction?
So ideally, changing the targets during the middle period of the OKR is not a good option. Hence the reason we always try to request or recommend our customers to set objectives and key results on a quarterly basis, so that at the you reflect the period, and also if you want to make any changes at the end of the quarter, you make the necessary changes and reset the target to the next period. So this will be a better option. But however, in certain scenarios, you may have to change your strategies based on various criteria. In such cases, you can still do that, but having that clear communication to your team members is a vital process, right, when you change the targets during the mid period.
Yes. And one more question is, how can misalignment between individual team and company OKRs be avoided?
So hence we discussed about this topic during the first pitfall, right? So having strategic alignment, right? When the organization should communicate the necessity of implementing this framework. In additionally, they also should communicate very clearly what is their strategic vision for the specific period. So aligning to the strategic goals, each and every department should set their targets that will directly contribute to the organizational goal. So clear communication during the OKR planning stage is really important in order to avoid such pitfalls during your OKR journey.
Okay, great. So we have one final question from Govindraj. He's asking if the online training for 3 days and what is the timings of the session?
So each and every day, it is a 3-hour program, and the training will happen 3 p.m. IST to 6 p.m. IST on each of the 3 days. Right, so it will be 3-hour virtual session, and during the session we will engage the participants with a lot of interactive quizzes and leaderboard sessions, and there are some interesting case studies that we will run during the session. It will be a 9-hour total and 3 hours per day, and the timing will be 3 p.m. IST to 6 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Right.
Okay. So yeah, so 3 hours per day, guys, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. IST, from August 21st to 23rd. So feel free to sign up. We look forward to seeing you all in that session. And also wanted to give a big thank you to all of you for taking the time to join us today and staying until the end. We really appreciate all your questions and your feedback and your comments as well. We also learned a lot from you guys today, and about your OKR implementation journey and your challenges. And also thank you so much, Ishwar, for helping us in overcoming most of the pitfalls of OKR implementation today.
Thank you, Prithvi. It was a nice interaction with all of us. Right.